Good morning, YouTube family. Good afternoon or good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome to Happy Crappy Hour. Welcome to Escape from Crazytown. You guys, this week has got me thinking about, of course, the coronavirus. I hope you all are doing well. And if you're kind of stuck in your home or away from others, I hope that you're finding a reprieve and doing some good things for yourself. But yeah, it's kind of, my crappy this week is that the coronavirus, it's not fun and it's not, conducive to socializing. We're, separating ourselves from people. It's a little hard, but I think that most people are still able to meet up with some friends. I did meet up with a friend yesterday. We took a walk around a park, which was awesome. So I do recommend that. Get outside if you can, if the weather's not too crummy. And if there's sun, definitely get outside and get some sun because that's the best thing, I think, for your body to heal. So you guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, I kind of wasn't sure what we wanted to do for this topic, but then I thought, you know what? The coronavirus and the narcissist. There's some similarities there. So I wanted to cover this, but also go into, a little bit of education about what to expect from a narcissist and why they're like the coronavirus. And anyway, we'll have a little bit of fun with this while we're stuck together here. And I hope that you guys are going to enjoy this. My crappy, like I said, this week was, the coronavirus shutting down all the gyms and restaurants and places you like to go, all the museums and libraries. So that was really, crummy for me because I love museums and libraries. But you know what? A good thing that comes out of this, though, is we're going to come back to a much cleaner place. There are going to be so many places that have been wiped down, cleaned up. Oh my gosh, some of the places we've been to, you go into the restroom, you're like, what happened in here? So hopefully that will all get cleaned up. Something, can come out of something bad. Something good can come out of something bad. And, that kind of makes me think about there's a video that I did. I can't remember what it's called exactly. Something about, what we can learn from the narcissist. And I know some people are like, oh, we can't learn a single thing from the narcissist. Well, I don't agree with that because you can learn what not to do, right? You definitely can learn that. You also learn a little more sympathy because when you go through something bad yourself, you will have more sympathy for others who are going through something bad, right? Who are going through a crushing blow. You also learn some of the good things, not that the narcissist does, but things that put into motion good things, like how the narcissist bounces back. I recently got a comment on one of my videos saying, no, I can't learn anything from the narcissist, or I refuse to learn anything from the narcissist, not even to bounce back, because this person thought that bouncing back meant becoming fake and not really healing and getting into another bad relationship. Now, yes, that's what a narcissist does when they bounce back. But what I mean by bouncing back is, focus on something else. Like, stop focusing on the negative, stop focusing on the devastation, and focus on a future. Like, start looking towards hope, right? In order to get yourself moving forward, in order to get yourself out of the ditch that you fell into with the narcissist. That's what I mean by bouncing back. The fact that a narcissist bounces back so quickly, it's because they forgive themselves quickly, right? And I'm not saying that you should forgive yourself and not think about what you did wrong and how you can fix that, but you do need to forgive yourself. So that's something you do learn from the narcissist, because a lot of us who've gone through these relationships, whether it's with parents or with lovers or friends, you tend to feel bad about yourself. You tend to criticize yourself. What was wrong with me? Why did I deserve that? What did I do that made them treat me this way? Or I must be a bad person. And so we start going down that road. And when we do that, we're not forgiving ourselves. We may even come up with reasons for why we think we deserved to be treated that way. So that's what I mean about learning from the narcissist. If they can bounce back so quickly, why can't we? Why can't we forgive ourselves, right? They can forgive themselves without even changing why can't we forgive ourselves when we do change? So anyway, you guys, that, I kind of digressed a bit there. So, but it has to do with learning and seeing similarities between narcissism and other things, and what can we apply to our lives that will make our lives better. And we can do that. So glad to see you guys hopping on. Jihad, good to see you. Measure Twice from Houston, where people are kind and life is good. Glad to hear that. Yeah, I love Texas. Love Texas. I have one of my best friends is from Texas. So I call her my Texas soul sister. Love it. Um, well, you guys, let me see. Did I tell you what a happy was? Yeah, my happy this week was getting together with my family more and, getting to see them more because they have to be home. So that's been nice. My husband had to work from home. I think he's working from home 3 days a week now. He has to still go into the office at least twice a week, but it's been really nice to have that. And, seeing, oh my gosh, seeing all the neighborhood kids coming out and riding their bicycles. And like I said, I went to the park yesterday with a friend of mine, and it was awesome to see the parents out there with their little ones, with their scooters and bicycles and soccer balls. It was nice, people getting out in the sun and enjoying family time. So I hope a lot of people are doing that. I hope you're able to do that with your loved ones, with your friends, and, you know, take precautions. Don't hang out with people who are sick, of course, right? But still make an effort. Well, you guys, let's get into the topic today. It is, how is the narcissist like the coronavirus? And I woke up this morning and, coronavirus is on my mind, like, because it's all over the news and you guys might be sick and tired of hearing about it. But I thought, you know what? It's kind of interesting that the narcissist is kind of like that. I was not one to go into a panic, all right, about the coronavirus. And I kind of thought, well, it's just like the flu. Come on, people, what's going on? We're overreacting here. And even if it is a lot like the flu, I think that we have something to learn from this. And here's the thing. The coronavirus appears like something very similar, right? It appears like the common flu. It has the same symptoms. And yet what's different about it though is that it's more persistent. It lasts longer. And so I was thinking, you know what? What's the narcissist like? What's similar to a narcissist? And some people have asked me, what's the difference between a narcissist and someone who's just a jerk? Right? Okay, here we go. Well, someone who's just a jerk, you deal with them. You have friends who are somewhat of a jerk at times, who get mad suddenly and, or um, make some critical comments that are just not nice every now and again. So you have a friend who's a jerk maybe sometimes, but you put up with it and you're like, okay, but I know their heart. I know they mean well. They just had an off day. You get that. So how is that different then from a narcissist? Well, here's the deal. We need to know the difference because we accept jerks into our life, right? We accept people who are sometimes jerks and we're like, well, and we give them an excuse and we give them some grace. But with a narcissist, if we do that, they will stay, they will persist, they will go deeper into your life and gain your trust to the point where they can dismantle your life. So they're far more dangerous than just someone who's a jerk, than someone who's just a jerk, right? Someone who's just immature or being a jerk in a moment, they actually feel bad. They feel bad that they were a jerk. They're like, I shouldn't have overreacted, or that was stupid of me. And they make attempts to change. Whereas a narcissist will be a jerk and still see that they had the right to be a jerk. They don't see that they are contradicting themselves when they hold themselves to one standard and everybody else to a different standard, right? They don't see that they have anything to change. So narcissists are very similar, right, to people who are just immature, acting like a jerk. But there's no cure to it. They don't see anything that they need to change. So that's why we got to be careful. They're very persistent in that. They're persistent in their point of view. You cannot change their mind. You cannot let them, cannot convince them that what they did was wrong, or maybe more wrong than what they perceive to have it taken as an attack from somebody else. So the more we know about the narcissism and how toxic it is, the more we're not going to treat them like some benign jerk, right? Someone that we could just write off for the day and say, boy, you're having a bad day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. No, with narcissists, you really don't want to have deep relationship with them. You don't want to develop further with them. If you can stay away from them, that would be the ideal. So that is one way the narcissist is like the coronavirus. The coronavirus comes in and we're thinking, what's the big deal? It's just the flu. Take this, similar precautions as the flu. No big deal. But it persists. It stays around much longer. You have more of a chance of getting sick from it than the flu, I suppose, right? That's what they're saying, because it lasts longer on even clothing. So the narcissist also can get deeper into your life than just a jerk. A jerk will, if they're immature, they're not going to get deep into your life and try to dismantle your life and hurt you. They're just, acting out in the moment. So that's the difference. Another thing that occurs to me, oh my gosh, you guys, there's some comments coming in here and I do want to hear what you have to say. So let me see what you guys are saying here. Oh yeah. Vitamin D from sunshine and supplements is top 3 most important vitamins during Corona. Yep. Vitamin C, A, zinc, and selenium. Thank you. Measure twice. Absolutely. So if you guys can get outside, enjoy the sun. Oh my gosh. If you're at a low altitude, sea level or such, get 20, 30 minutes of sun. If you're a high altitude, of course, they say 10, 15 minutes before you need to put sunblock on. But get out there and enjoy the sun. It lifts your spirit. And especially if you're coming out of a relationship with a narcissist, you already feel pretty gloomy. You're already feeling down. The sun just makes everything better. It just does. It feels so much better on your skin. It just warms you up, not just physically, but spiritually. So you guys get outside, enjoy yourself. And those of you who, we can see this bad side of this, which is, maybe you're not able to go to work. And I really feel for the service industry people who are really being hurt badly by this, restaurants closing, bars closing, places where they would get tips, right? And they live from their tips. So if you're at home, at least try to make the best of it and take good care of yourself physically. Work on that. The spiritual side, the physical side, the financial side is going to have to be taken care of later. It's just going to have to be. So, and I think a lot of places are taking measures to give grace for rent and stuff like that if they can. So I'm hoping that, and food pantries are open. People are donating more food and things like that to help others along. So hopefully society is coming together to really encourage one another and help one another. Well, you guys, let me see. Free Spirit, good to see you. Anita, good to see you from England. Oh, cool. How's it going in England? Yeah. Yeah. Avoid gluten, sugar, dairy if possible, which I am not avoiding, but I am not eating as much sugar as I usually do, which is good. It's actually not mango. It is, what is that called? It's a melon. Honeydew. No, not honeydew, the other one. Why can't I think of it? You guys will think of it. But yeah, it's a melon. I did have mango the other day, though. Measure Twice says, co-parenting with my narcissist ex-husband is difficult during this time. He wants to ignore all precautions and run around to all stores with the kids. He doesn't care who gets sick. Yeah, and that's why, I got thinking about why the coronavirus and narcissists are similar. because coronavirus, and I have to admit, I kind of felt the same way too. Come on, we don't have to be so scared. And maybe we don't have to be so scared, but we do need to take precautions. We do need to wash our hands more. We do need to wipe down things, right? And be aware of wiping down things. So the other day I got one of those, I forget, whatever, handy wipes. And I wiped the pretty much my entire front of my car, every knob and every button that I touch, the steering wheel, the little screen on my dashboard. I just wiped down everything, and it just felt so much better. I was pretty surprised though how much dirt came off onto the wipe. So yeah, we do need to take precautions. And when we see a narcissist, sometimes we don't take precautions with them, right? There are precautions we need to take when we're with a narcissist. We cannot treat them like a normal person. Just like we shouldn't treat the flu as if it doesn't matter. We still should take precautions even if it's a flu, right? We still need to make sure that we stay away from sick people, or not try to breathe in their air, obviously, right? Not shake hands, make sure that we're wiping things down more, just staying more clean, showering more, if you can. So there are precautions we can also take with a narcissist. When a narcissist comes into our life and we're sensing like, wow, this person only talks about themselves, they don't seem to be very considerate or very sympathetic towards other people, that's a huge sign. If they're not sympathetic towards people, you have to say, that's a little bit of a red flag. And maybe I should not be sharing my life story with this person, because if they're not sympathetic to these other people, they may be just acting sympathetic towards me and then talking badly about me behind my back. They're just acting. So be careful of that. Yeah. So another thing that is similar between the coronavirus and the narcissist is that people are aware of the damage that the flu can do, right? I mean, I know the flu sucks. Even if it's not the coronavirus, just a regular flu, each flu season, they suck. They're horrible. I have seen so many people get sick and they're wandering around. You see it too. They're sniffling, they're coughing, they're hacking away, and yet they're out in public and they're spreading it everywhere. And if you catch it, you will be just as miserable as they are. So we know this. We know this about the flu. And yet, just like Measure Twice's husband, even if he doesn't care about the coronavirus and he doesn't think that it's that big of a deal, a regular flu still sucks. It just does. Why would you want to expose your kids to even regular flus, right? So wash their hands regularly. Make sure that they're not touching things they shouldn't. Oh my gosh, I was at the doctor's office this week, actually. If you have been listening the last few weeks, you know that my wrist was giving me trouble. So it was still hurting and it was becoming worse. It seemed like it was becoming worse because I was not able to move it in certain directions. So I was getting a little bit worried. So I go to the doctor's office, and while I'm in the waiting room, this young mom and her little girl come out of the doctor's office, and they walk into the lobby, and I guess they have to wait there for a little bit. And the little girl is maybe 1.5, maybe 2 years old. So they come out and they're supposed to walk towards the chairs to sit down in the waiting room, but there's this door in the other direction that's open. So the little girl starts going through this other door, and the mom, of course, gets her, tells her, no, come this way. And of course, the little girl doesn't listen, and she still keeps going through the door. So the mom goes and takes her hand, right, grabs her hand to try to get her to go in towards the waiting room, towards the chairs. And immediately the little one, she flops to the ground and starts like just laying there on the ground. And I just thought, oh my gosh, coronavirus, you've got another victim. But, I'm just thinking about it. There are precautions we need to take. We can't just roll around on the ground, right? We can't just, oh my gosh, I see little kids licking metal surfaces on, at the playground. And I'm just like, holy cow. Little kids don't know precautions, how to take precautions, but we do. We know there are things we should not do. And when we're aware that there's danger, there's something that could damage us or damage those who could hurt the people we love, um, we should take precautions. Just like with the coronavirus, just take some precautions. No, they narcissists could possibly you could live amongst narcissists and hardly be affected by them at all, right? You could actually have a narcissist in your life currently and they could have no damage to you at all, which is great. But if you don't take precautions, they can have a lot of damage. Like the narcissists that are in my life, if I would allow them into every aspect of my life, if I tell them my deepest concerns and my biggest worries or my hopes and dreams, they will take advantage of that and they will hurt me. They will try to sabotage if there's something good happening in my life. And if there's something bad and I have worries about something, they're going to spread it to everybody. They're going to gossip about it. So why would I want that, right? Why would I want that? So I take precautions. I don't share the details of my life with the narcissist. I, still have a relationship with them because you can have interaction with a narcissist without being damaged. And it's the same thing with interaction at the playground or interaction, going to the restaurants, going even to the doctor's office, right? The waiting room with that little girl. You don't have to lay down on the ground and expose yourself to graver danger. These are the things that we can learn once we know that there's a narcissist in our midst, or once we start to feel that this person is a little bit off, I don't feel like I can share with this person, then don't share with them. So I had written a couple of notes. Let me see what I wrote here. They can, oh yeah. Okay. Sometimes we just take things in stride because we're like, well, we're just so used to it. We're so used to the flu season. We don't need to be concerned. Just take some precautions. Same thing with the narcissist. They're people too. You have to work with them, or you have to live next to them, or you have to see them at family functions. You can take them in stride, but take precautions, right? And one of the great things, actually, I think that's happening with the coronavirus, by the way, is that people are becoming more clean. At least more and more people. Not everybody out there, right? But hopefully we all are learning to take more precautions. We're learning to cough into our elbows instead of our hands. I don't know why we learned to cough into our hands in the first place. What a terrible thing. But coughing into our elbow, that's just brilliant. Pushing doors open with our sleeve or with our backside or with our elbow rather than with our hands, another good thing. Not touching your face, great idea, right? And just regularly washing your hands. Good things. These are good precautions. And we can have good precautions when we develop relationships. We can have good precautions when we're encountering a toxic person or even a jerk, right? Someone who's being a total jerk. We can have certain responses that will actually help the situation rather than making it worse. So let me see what you guys are talking about here. So I do want to see rock melon. No, that's not it either. Why can't I think of it? Cantaloupe. That's what it is. It's a cantaloupe. Oh yeah, Measure Choice says you love dairy, but supposedly it suppresses the immune system. Yeah, I kind of wonder about that. I've heard about that too. Oh, Measure Twice says, I have elderly parents, 78, live with me, and my mother with COPD lung issues. Oh, she never even smoked. Would likely die from corona. My father, not much better. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. And I know, and if your husband's taking your children around and they're getting germs on them, I guess the best thing is to have them wash up when they do come back to see you. When they, oh my gosh, when I have had kids come into my house, and I don't know, I don't take it as being insulting or anything, but I do ask them to wash their hands because I know they're coming from schools or playgrounds or play groups, and kids will touch everything, and each other, and they don't see the harm in standing right next to someone who's coughing, having a coughing fit, and they'll breathe that all in and they'll get all that on them, all the spewed, sneezes on them. Yeah. So when they come into my home, I do ask them, please, can you just wash your hands? And I got to say, my home has been a very germ free, sick free place. I mean, it's very rarely that we get sick in our house or have any illness in our house. And I'm so glad of that. And I think part of it is simply washing your hands, and having those who come visit wash your hands. Now, I don't ask adults to do that, but little kids, I'm like, friends who bring their little ones over, I'll ask, would you mind washing their hands? And they're like, oh, yeah, no problem. So they do. Maybe we'll adopt, these healthy habits. Yep. Oh, okay. Yeah, Measure Twice says she's extensively researched this, and corona is 10 times worse than the flu regarding lung damage, and also damage to the kidneys. You said the narcissist, your ex husband, don't live with you? Yeah. Yeah. Are you talking, oh, okay, with the narcissist, how it's causing stress to them and there'll be PTSD to deal with? Are you talking about the stress of the coronavirus or the stress of the narcissist? Wow. You can stay contagious for 40 days in the issue. Kids can have no symptoms and spread it, unfortunately. Yep. Yep. Yeah, and flu cases are dropping. That's great, right? Isn't that amazing to you also? I just think about, wow, people, if we had just that's the thing. Part of me is kind of upset that the government had to intervene and tell people to stay home or close up restaurants, which I feel so bad for the restaurants because it affects people's livelihood. And we shouldn't have had to do that. But there are those out there who don't take precautions, who don't quarantine themselves when they're sick, who don't cough into their elbow, but cough right out into the air, or into their hands and then touch surfaces. People don't take precautions. And then because of those people, the government had to step in and say, look, we don't trust you to do what's necessary. So we're closing down all of these things, which is really sad, I think, that they had to do that. Um, yeah. So you guys, let's talk about another similarity between the coronavirus and narcissists. The coronavirus is infectious and can spread, right? Well, narcissists also spread their bad will. With their fan club and their enablers, they spread their toxicity onto our lives, and it reaches farther than it should. When that happens, when the narcissist has their fan club and they have their enablers, and the fan club and the enablers come to you and they try to infect you, right? They want you to live in this crazy town world with the narcissist and with them, where everything serves just the narcissist. You can resist that. That's the thing. You can resist that. You don't have to subject yourself to that infection. You don't have to allow that infection to take you over as well. You don't have to become an enabler of the narcissist. I've heard from some viewers whose parents are pushing them to allow their narcissistic siblings to take advantage of them. And I'm thinking, what the heck? I've seen that, I've witnessed it, I've been around it, I've been affected by that as well. with narcissistic family members wanting me to be sympathetic, and not just sympathetic, but allow the other narcissist to treat me badly. And I'm like, no, I don't need to subject myself to that. I don't need to be around them. Oh my gosh, I have a story for you. So, if you've followed me at all, that I have a narcissistic mom who has a narcissistic brother. The two of them are the oldest in their family. And she's the oldest girl, he's the oldest boy. And they are almost like two peas in a pod. I don't know. I want to say that he's worse, but I'm not too sure that he is. But here's the thing. So they hate each other and then they love each other. And then they hate each other and then they love each other. As in their codependent love of each other. They don't really love each other. They don't, anyway, here's the thing. So my mom for years has been on my back about not being interactive with my uncle. And there's really no reason for me to be. We don't even live in the same state. We have nothing in common. He actually has tried to friend me on Facebook for years. And every time I just reject it because I just don't see the point of having him see what's going on in my life. And for a long time, my mom wasn't even on Facebook. So that was good. But now, sadly, she's on there. So I'm hardly ever on there anymore. But I don't like to have narcissists know what's going on in my life. I don't want to share my life with them because I know they have nothing but ill will towards people who are doing better than them, and then also ill will even towards people who are doing worse than them. So I don't need that toxicity in my life. So of course I don't reach out to him. He has his own family. They have to deal with him. Why do I have to deal with him, right? So here she is with her guilt trips about, why don't you come hang out with us? Why don't you stay in the same place with him when we're, the family's together and this and that? And I'm like, because I don't see the need to. I mean, I don't mind seeing him, like going out to lunch with all of us, but I don't see the point of having to stay in the same house with him 24 hours a day for an entire week when we're vacationing anywhere near them, right? Like I don't see the point of that because I don't want to subject myself to anything. And if you're with somebody 24 hours a day for a week, you get to know them far more than you want to. And they get to know you far more than you want them to know even, right? And even if you're on your best behavior, narcissists will misinterpret and purposefully misinterpret everything that you do, and then spread rumors about how inconsiderate you were. I knew already that the way he would behave was, if I should leave one glass on the kitchen table, but clean up everything else, but leave the one glass because I'm drinking from it. But then we all get ready to leave and we walk out the door, and then we come back and that glass is still there. His version of that will be that I was so inconsiderate that I left my dirty dishes all over the place for him to clean up after me. That's what he would interpret it to be. I knew this. I knew this going in. So my precaution is I stay in a different place. There's no need for me to stay in the same place with him. And anyway, here's the deal. Just recently, she was telling me that when she goes to, so he lives in a different country, although right now he's living in her house, but he does normally live in a different country, does have a place in this other country. And she says that when she goes to visit that country, and she's not necessarily visiting him, she's visiting other friends and family out there as well. So when she goes there, she just recently told me that she really doesn't like staying with him. That she says, you know how he is. I'm like, yes, I do know how he is. What the heck, So all these years you're trying to pressure me to stay with him. And now you're telling me you don't even like staying with him. You're appealing to me and saying you know how he is. I'm like, yes, I do know how he is. Why would you want to subject me to this and my family, my husband? Come on. Why would you subject us to this abusive guy? Because narcissists don't care. They just don't care. They live by their own standards. And like I said, she's a narcissist, but also an enabler to another narcissist. And same thing with him. He's a narcissist and he's an enabler to her. They get together and they gossip about everybody and they tear everybody down, and everybody's a horrible person according to them. And they will misinterpret everything everybody has ever said or done around them so that they can build their case against everybody, right? It's just that's just the way the narcissist works. So here's the deal. The narcissist will try to spread their infection, will try to spread their ill will. They will try to spread their bad attitude, their gossiping, their horrible, debilitating ways, right? Their attacks on people. They want other people to attack along with them. And sadly, some people will. Some people will jump on that bandwagon because they believe the narcissist. They think the narcissist is saying, this person was bad to me. Like, let's use the example I gave you a little earlier. Say I stayed with him, I left a glass on the table, and he put the glass into the dishwasher. According to him now, it would be that he had to clean up all of my mess. I was so inconsiderate. I was such a jerk and took advantage of him while I was at his house. Actually, my mom's house. It wasn't even his house. He's living in for free. So that's the way he would put it to the rest of my family. And the rest of my family, according, depending on which ones he tells, if he tells another enabler of his, they'll believe it. They'll think, oh my gosh, you're right. What a terrible person she is. She is so inconsiderate. I can't believe she's such a jerk. And then there you go, family rift. And, I'll have to wonder, why are these people being so rude and mean to me? That's what happens with narcissists. They will spread rumors about you in town, in your family, amongst your friends, your circles of influence. They will try to tear you down. So as little interaction as you can have with them, that would be the best. And when you do have interaction with them, just be pleasant, just be nice. Don't give them anything to work with. If you can help it, they'll still misinterpret it, but just be as benign as you can. Don't go overly friendly, but also don't be mean, right? So that is what you do. Tara, Abba, good to see you. Oh, okay. All kids may have some PTSD from this whole coronavirus thing. It's so true. We've never seen this. I had a younger person ask me, have you ever seen this before? Has this ever happened? And I'm like, never in my lifetime have I ever seen us get quarantined like this. Restaurants across the entire country, come on, being shut down. I don't understand this. I mean, I wonder if it's happening in every state, in every town in every state. I don't know, but I know in my state, I think it's a state mandate. Every restaurant has to be closed. So it's not even just our town or a few towns. It's every restaurant within our state. And I'm like, what the heck? That's how are people gonna make a living? And here's the deal. I think there's a solution to this, by the way. I'm just gonna throw this out here to you guys, and maybe it'll get to some ears. But I know that some grocery stores are trying to spread out how many people can go in or come out, right? So recently I heard that one of the major stores out here would allow a certain number of customers in, and they would instruct the customers, get what you need and please come out as quickly as you can. So they do. And as they come out, then they let more customers in. So they're trying to spread it out, and they have signs all over the store saying, please keep your distance from everybody. And, and nobody looked sick. Let me tell you something. Nobody looked sick. Everybody looked very healthy. I was there last night, and I wasn't there when they were allowing only certain number of people in and certain number of people out, or as people were coming out, because I guess at the time that I went, it just wasn't that many people. But there are signs out, so they're still open. They're still allowing people to come in and out. And I'm thinking, why don't they do that with restaurants? Why don't they just say, look, restaurants, we want you to be at half capacity. Allow them to still be open, but make sure they wipe down every table, every bar stool, every countertop. Do it every hour and after every customer leaves. and not with this nasty, dirty dish rag that I've seen at restaurants, but actual disinfectants, right? Real good disinfectants. They could put out these precautions and warnings and, encourage the restaurants to do this. And people who see restaurants that are doing this will then patronize those restaurants, will go to those restaurants. If you see restaurants not doing this and you walk into one that just feels dirty, looks dirty, countertops are sticky, you're not going to go. The market will decide, the people will decide. These restaurants are the ones I will still go to, and these other ones that are remaining dirty and refusing to abide by cleanliness, standards, I'm not going to go back to. And actually, I've made that decision myself. I'm like, you know what? There are some restaurants where they're sticky and they're dirty, and if I come in and it looks like that, I'm gonna leave, because why would I want to stick around for that? Stick around. Anyway, you guys. Yep. We gotta just, have some common sense, right? Obi, good to see you. Measure twice is that motto came from. Oh wait, what's the motto? Yeah, don't engage in sincere communication with the insincere. Yes, from Richard Grannon. I didn't know that. Oh my gosh. But yeah, this is, you cannot be all in with a narcissist. You cannot. And you know what? I'm not too sure about the sincere. You can be sincere. You can actually be, I'm sincere about my love and my care for my mom. I do. I do love her. I do care about her. There are times where it's hard for me to say that I love her because of the damage that she's caused. But, as I see her and as she's getting more and more frail, I do feel for her. I don't want the worst for her. I wish for her to wake up and learn to have a healthy love for herself. Right now, she has such an unhealthy, self-centered view of herself that it's not really loving herself, right? It's not really being good to herself. And I feel bad about that. And I think she may die in this state. Like, she may never experience true love in this life. She may never experience what it's like to have a real, sincere relationship with people. I mean, to her, she thinks it's sincere, though, I guess. She doesn't know any better. She doesn't know that she's missing out. But I do. I know this, and I know, like, things could be so much better, and she's tormented. I see it. I see that she's just tormented all the time. She's so concerned about what other people think of her. She's so jealous of other people. She has this twisted perspective on what other people have said or done. She just takes the worst out of it, right? I just think, how horrible is it to live that way? It cannot be a good way to live. It's not very freeing. It's just like living in a prison in your own mind, in your own body. And I feel bad for her. So you can have a sincere love and reaction to them. It's just that you have to hold back, though. You cannot let it all out to them. Yeah. Obi says the corona and narcs work in a similar pattern. They both kill you slowly in stealth mode, undetected. Yes, that's a good point. And it's undetected. Yeah, you're right, because, that makes me think about, as Measure Twice mentioned earlier, that people can be infected with it and not show any signs, right? Just like the narcissist. You might think this person is perfectly benign. This person is just like a normal person. And yet they are narcissistic because they've put on a mask. You just don't know. You have no idea they're carrying narcissism, and until it strikes you, until it debilitates you, right? Very, very similar. Good analogy there, because they're undetected. Yep. Measure Twice says awareness of narcissists' red flags is key to identifying a narc and then avoiding them as best as possible. Yes. Wow. Yeah, Measure Twice says the corona is an actual war. We are in a wartime situation now. And in a way, I agree with you. I think that this virus, the good thing about it, if you can see a good thing, is that it's preparing us, right? We're actually learning to prepare for a worse situation than this, something that could be even more infectious than this, right? We're learning how to be a little more self sufficient. We're learning a little more about self quarantining. We're learning a little bit more about being considerate towards other people who are very susceptible to this virus. So we don't have to be a jerk towards them, right? We don't have to like laugh at them because they're taking precautions. We actually can be sympathetic and make sure that we abide by the precautions for them because we care about them. We don't want them to get sick. So we're going to make sure that we clean up and we keep ourselves sanitary so that we don't spread anything to them. So if we go out and we're shopping and we're touching everything, when we go to see them, before we see them, we wash up, right? We make sure we don't touch everything in their house. We make sure we don't cough on them or touch them or, share, I know, like dip your hands into the same chip bowl. We start to learn how to be a little more sanitary around everybody. So that's a good thing. And hopefully we're teaching our kids this as well. We're teaching the kids to wash up so that they're a little bit more aware. Because kids are not born aware. They don't know. They don't understand germs. And they don't know about fearing germs, right? Not that we should fear it, but they don't know about taking precautions. Just like that little girl who's rolling around on the floor at the doctor's office. She's not thinking, oh my gosh, there are germs on the floor, from people's dirty shoes that have walked all over bathroom floors and such. And she's not thinking about that. She's just like, I don't want to go out of this room, so I'm going to lay on the floor while my mom drags me. It was very, very hilarious actually to watch. So, oh wow, yeah. Measure Twice says the corona can stay airborne for 3 hours. So elderly first in stores best. Oh yeah, you know what? I heard that Target did that the other day here in our state, or maybe just in my town. I don't know, but they had an earlier hour that they opened up just for the elderly. So before the rest of their clients or why can't I think customers came in. I thought that was brilliant. Oh no, Obi says this epidemic bought my time to screw me over more and plot devious deeds to do to me. What is going on there, Obi? How are you still in connection with this person? I hope that you are able to close that out soon. Yeah. Measure Twice says even better is drive-through pickup of groceries. Oh, in Texas, restaurants are open for pickup only. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I forgot about that. They're not entirely closed. They're only open for pickup. But not many people are picking up. Not many people are ordering from restaurants. Yeah, kind of wonder about that. I wonder how it's affecting what is that? Grubhub? People who deliver from restaurants too. I don't know. Jack, hey, good to see you. Yeah, here's the thing. This is how I feel too. He says this is overblown in an attempt to impose more restrictions and further loss of freedom, the totalitarian tiptoe in action. And that's my big concern here as well. Is like, you know what? My one of my instincts was, what the heck, the government is forcing us and telling us what we can and cannot do. What the heck is that about? That's baloney. But then I realized, you know what? There's some really, I hate to say it, but some really ignorant people out there who don't care, right? Who are they just go, they just continue to live their life exactly as they've lived it. They don't consider maybe to take some precautions, which you should. Like some people just have very bad habits when it comes to cleanliness. They really do. They never wipe down anything in their house. They rarely even clean their bathrooms. They don't even wash their hands regularly, right? They may wash their hands twice a day. And that's it for them. They're like, that's good enough. I brush my teeth twice a day. I wash my hands twice a day. And they don't think, that they're harming other people or that they could be a carrier of germs. And because of them, because of that, people who are irresponsible, the government intervenes and has to, which is that and feels like it has to do this. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree that the government should do that. But I also wish that people were more responsible. I wish that people would have taken precautions, would have cleaned up, would have made sure that they don't spread their germs. If they were sick, to stay home. People don't even do that, right? People will still go out coughing, hacking on everything, and touching everything. And you're like, what the heck, dude, stay home. Or if you go out, and you're coughing, cough into your elbow. Don't cough into your hands and then touch all the cabbages, for crying out loud, right? Just stuff like that. People are just inconsiderate and not, I don't know, they're just ignorant or they're just unaware. Oh, is that what's going on? You can't disinfect the restaurants adequately? Huh. Oh, I go by Escape from Crazytown or Escape, but not Crazytown. Crazytown is where you want to leave. You don't want to have anything to do with Crazytown. Regarding your narc mother, the same is true for my narc mother. She will never change. I have accepted this and have to be at peace with this fact. I know, right? You have to accept it. You know that they can't. I always have hope. Like, I don't know why, but I just like think, is it possible maybe she's just narcissistic? Maybe she's not a narcissist, but she just has these tendencies and has built these walls and these survival mechanisms, I guess, if you will call it that, these bad habits. But you're right, I just keep hoping that she would wake up from this one day. I keep hoping that one day she would want to have a real and sincere conversation with me. But I don't know why. For these people, they are stunted. They don't have that deeper connection with people. They don't. I they're just limited, but they can't see that they're limited. That's the thing. They can't see that there can be any deeper of a relationship than what they actually have with you. And they think their deep relationship with you is that they get to speak their mind and they get to judge you and you accept them as they are. That's their deep relationship with you. And so annoying, but we accept it. We know what the limitations are, and they have no idea we're holding back. They have no idea that we are protecting ourselves. They have no idea that we don't allow them into a deeper place in our heart, into our life. Yeah, they have no idea. Ah, there you go, Obi-Wan. My narc taught me how to live broke for many years, so I knew how to conserve amenities I need. Yep, that's good. Yeah, this sucks. Yeah, as you're twice talking about the government, yeah, intervening too much too. Oh no. Oh, I see. I didn't realize you had children with your narc. I'm so sorry. It says children and a brain injury keeps us together. Oh, what? Wow, interesting. People with blood type A are twice as likely to die from corona. Why is that? Oh, wow. Oh, because of surface proteins on the blood cells in the different blood groups. Type A is more susceptible for this reason. Oh, I did not know that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Jack, it's really upsetting to me too to see people being brainwashed or people, and that's what narcissists do. Uh that's how the narcissist and coronavirus are like, could also be overblown. There are people out there who are saying like everybody's a narcissist and be careful of this person and lock yourself away and never have a relationship again. And I'm like, no, that's not true. The narcissist is not everybody's a narcissist. You can have a good relationship. And I know a lot of us have felt that way. It's kind of shell shock after you come out of a relationship with a narcissist or after you become aware of narcissistic personality disorder. You start to see it everywhere, right? And you can easily panic and go into this, imposed quarantine of yourself, or like the state's doing to you, or like other people on social media trying to scare us into believing that there are no good people out there and everybody's terrible and you have to look out for only yourself. Guess what that does? It turns you into a narcissist. It turns you into this uncaring, very paranoid, and damaging person to other people, because you're not going to be kind to them if you're thinking that they're the enemy. That's how narcissists see the world. They see the world as the enemy. Now, we don't want to see everybody in our life as the enemy, but we have to be aware and discerning of those who are damaging. And those are the ones that we protect ourselves against. But that doesn't mean we should quarantine ourselves from everybody and not have a relationship, right? Not try to have healthy friendships and healthy interactions with people. And we're built for socializing. We're built to have relationship. And the big narcissist scare out there, I think, is kind of the same way. People are trying to isolate from other people because they just don't trust anybody. Um, that's why I hope through some of the channels like mine, we're trying to teach people to hope again, and how to trust again, and how to forgive yourself and learn healthy ways of developing relationships. Anyway, yeah, yeah. Thanks, Measure Twice. Talking about hope floats and how we do hope for those we love. Yeah. Yeah, Opie says nobody's good anymore. Yeah, that's the kind of the big scare out there. People want to believe, are spreading this news like, oh, our society is becoming a narcissistic society. And I'll tell you what, um, some of the things that are happening, the way the media, Hollywood, whatever you want to call it, are putting it out there, it does seem like they're encouraging people to become more narcissistic, right? And maybe they are becoming more self-centered, more self-focused, etc., all of that. But I think that they may not be completely brainwashed into becoming a full-blown narcissist. Maybe it's just an immaturity level thing right now where they can grow out of it, and they still have a conscience, and they still care about things, and they do have empathy and sympathy, right? They do love animals. They do love their neighbors or their children or their best friend or their spouse. They do care. And what we need to learn, though, oh, and I shared this with somebody recently too, who was writing in with a problem that they were having with their uncaring narcissistic spouse. They were asking, what can they do, because they're stuck there with their spouse. They have a child that they share, and my thing is boundaries. Boundaries, though, with consequences. You can't just have boundaries and no consequences. That's just nagging. That's not actually going to change anybody or teach anybody to behave differently. So those who are narcissistic, if they have a boundary with a consequence, they will learn from it, and they'll see like, oh, okay, I can't treat you this way, because what happens, the consequence of that is you walk out, or you don't stay the night, or you don't, if you're a spouse and you have a friend that you can go to, you don't stay. You're like, okay, I'm out of here. If you're going to behave this way, I'm going to go sleep over at, whoever's house. Um, if you're giving them consequences, someone who's just narcissistic can come around. But even someone who is a narcissist and you give them boundaries with consequences, they're going to fight you on it, but you hold strong and you just let them know, I'm not bending, I'm not yielding on this. And you have choices that you can make as an individual to make those choices. Either, separate yourself from them for a while, they'll get angry, whatever, but you have to protect yourself. Not all of your tactics will work, and maybe none of them will work, but at least they'll see that you're not going to lie down and let them just steamroll over you. So boundaries with consequences. If they're borrowing money from you, or say you have a spouse that uses a credit card and keeps running it up, you don't give them a credit card anymore. That's it. You don't give them a credit card anymore. And I wonder if there's any way that you can stop them from trying to get credit cards in your name or on your account. So, you start setting up precautions and boundaries with consequences like that. Yeah. Yeah. Free spirit, good to see you. Says they want us to think like them, but once we start to trust our intuition and enforce our boundaries, we can trust again. Yes. Yes. Oh, Obi-Wan says Jesus said that. Oh, said that nobody's good anymore. Yeah. Well, I mean, he says like because we're all sinful. Yeah. Measure twice. Very true. Free spirit. Yeah. Free spirit says, I think it's our own judgment we don't trust for a while. Absolutely. Because we allowed the narcissist in. We ignored the red flags, right? Some of the stuff we allowed them to do to us. And we're like, and we made excuses for the narcissist, or we didn't stand up for ourselves, and we wonder like, why did I do that? Why did I allow that to happen? And then we don't trust our own defense mechanisms. We don't trust our own sense of protection. So we become scared and we shy away from relationships because we're thinking how are we gonna be able to protect ourselves in new relationships, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for those without the full-blown personality disorder, I kind of agree with you. They could have been traumatized and become narcissistic and learn narcissistic ways, but I still think they can change if that's the case. Oh, yeah. Jack says social media has contributed greatly to narcissism. Lots of immediate attention and presenting a false image of oneself. It has helped to ruin so many relationships. It's so horrible. And that's the thing with social media. I think people want um, accolades, they want attention. It feels great when somebody says, "Oh, we just love you so much. You're so wonderful." I watch some of the I don't watch it, but I've seen some articles where people who suddenly become famous because of Instagram, or I don't know what it is, but maybe on reality TV shows or something like that. And they're just these horrible characters, just horrible. And you've seen them have no remorse in the way they treated another contestant, for instance. You see that they have no remorse for how they degraded, yelled at, undermined another contestant. And yet in their social media they'll still have people say, "Oh, I just love you so much. I think you're so wonderful and I think you're so brave and blah blah blah." And I'm thinking, "Holy cow. That's the worst thing." Now, we don't want to bully them and say like, you don't deserve anything and you're the worst person in the world or anything like that. But how are they learning any accountability? How are they learning that what they did was wrong? If people are continually kissing their behinds, it's very, very disturbing to me that that's taking place. That so there's, and they don't even know who it is that's kissing them, who's kissing up to them either. These can be very weak-willed, weak-minded people, but I guess they will take these compliments from whoever's willing to give it to them and build themselves up on these fake platforms, these fake sense of personality or fake sense of being, and they think that they can do no wrong, so they just continually treat people badly, which is very frustrating to me and upsetting. I'm going to try to lift this up a little bit. So you guys, we have come to the end of our hour, but I think I have another point here to make. Ah, here's the thing. Same thing with, flu season or the coronavirus and the narcissist. Sometimes we get so used to going about and doing our thing, and we notice, like, oh, I'm not getting sick. I went out several times and I've done just fine. I can probably, you start to get comfortable and you start to put your guard down. And maybe you don't wash your hands when you come home after being at the store. Maybe you forget to use your sleeve or push a door open with your elbow, and instead you're grabbing the doorknob. Yeah, we can become complacent if we notice that the virus is not affecting us. We start to think, it's not a big deal. It's not something to worry about. So you go back to bad habits, or put your guard down, right? Same thing with a narcissist. When you're around narcissist, and even though you may have been traumatized by one, you start to, once you distance yourself from them, after a while, you might start to put your guard down. You might start surrounding yourself with people who seem to be very nice, very pleasant. You're building relationships, but you are ignoring red flags again because you want so badly for things to go back to normal. You want so badly to be able to make a connection with people that you let your guard down and you ignore the red flags when you start when narcissists that are coming into your life start to act up. You just attribute it to them. They're just being a jerk, or they're just having a bad day, and you don't take note of it. You don't take a precaution and back off a little bit to allow them to earn your trust, to allow them to act out their life in front of you to show you who they really are. You tend to become complacent with those relationships, and that's when you let your guard down, that they strike, and suddenly you're flattened again, and you're like, what just happened? How did this happen? And some of us have gone through this multiple times before we realize, holy cow, why do I keep allowing this to happen to me? It's because we become complacent and we let our guard down. So just wanted to share that with you. Sometimes we do that and we have to be careful. Yeah. But I want to leave you guys with this thought. Something that, let me see. I'm sorry. Let me see. Somebody's saying, Obi-Wan says, I became famous making town narcs mad. That's awesome. I really wish I could know more about that someday. I hope you tell us when you're able to. I would love to hear about that. But here's the thing I wanted to leave you guys with today. You know what? No matter what happens, no matter how people are towards you, choose the high road. Always do the good thing, right? Always choose good over bad. Yesterday, my husband and I were walking in the across the parking lot from the grocery store, and this car sees us walking across, right? And yet they want to squeeze right by. So they do. They kind of, not real fast, but they squeeze right by us and didn't allow us to walk across. And, part of me was sort of like indignant about it. And I thought, what a jerk, really? I didn't say anything. You know, my husband was irritated a bit about it too. And he's like, I can't remember what he made some small comment like, okay, fine, just try to run us over, something like that. But he didn't say it loud enough that the guy could hear it or anything. But I just thought, you know what? It doesn't matter, honey. Just let it be. And we kept walking. And I was like, we also have a choice to stop and let him go. Who cares? Whatever. It doesn't matter to me. But then my husband told me that a few days earlier, the exact same thing happened with him, where he was driving by and some people, two guys were walking, I guess, and I don't know that they were even as close as we were to this other car. So they were a ways off, and he was driving by, and they lost their minds and started yelling at him and saying, I don't know, mean stuff, I guess. And I was like, wow, what's funny to me in those situations is people who think that the other person is being rude, that the other person is being inconsiderate, but they're the ones who are screaming and yelling names, calling the person names, degrading the person, yelling at the person, but they don't see themselves as being rude. They don't see themselves as being a jerk. It just blows my mind. It blows my mind. So the reason I even tell you this is because choose to do the right thing. Don't be the jerk, right? Even if you have a right to be a jerk, even if the other person did cut you off, choose to not be a jerk along with the other person, right? You can do that. Even if you think the other person was being a jerk, you don't have to be one yourself, right? You can take the high road. You can be the good person. You can bless them and say, you know what? Whatever. I guess you're in a hurry. I'm not going to be concerned about that, and let it go. So, you guys, I hope that you've enjoyed our time together. I'm so glad you were able to come on and hang out with me today. Hopefully, most of you guys are outside enjoying good weather. I'm hoping for that. Have a great day, you guys, and I will see you next week. Stay safe, wash your hands. Love to all of you guys.